Hi everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global podcast. We're coming to you from BMC Engage in Las Vegas. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with Charlie Betts.
Kirsty.
Carlos Casanova.
Kirsty.
And we're speaking with Mark Gaydos from Nlyte. Nice to see you, Mark.
Thanks, Kirsty. Thanks for
Welcome,
having me.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome, Mark. Mark, it's so great to see you and Nlyte here. Certainly, as we hear about digital transformation and everything that's happening in society with computers and cloud and all this, I think that sometimes we lose track of the fact that there still are real computers in real data centers.
This is true.
Running real compute workloads. Nlyte has been a leader for a long time in actually helping people manage the service of their data centers. And I'd love to hear from you, your take on, what you're seeing from your customers and in the industry. Where is it going at that level of, where things really get real?
Yeah, so as you pointed out, right, if you talk to your grandmother, she hears about the cloud. There's not actual computers in the cloud doing computing. There's actually still data centers out there. And what's happened in the last few years with digital transformation, right, applications are becoming the lifeblood of organizations, right? They're becoming more critical. And so as a result, data centers are becoming more critical, right? And power and capacity and all the sort of processes happening within the data centers are becoming more critical. And where in the past, many data centers were run like cowboys, they were just off doing their things. A lot of the ITSM folks are starting to say, hey, they're an important part of this equation, and so we need to incorporate them. And so data center service management is a big component of ITSM and is really growing in importance to make sure that what's happening in the data center ties into what's happening to the rest of IT. So,
Yeah, I've been looking at that with a customer at the moment, is that they're moving everything into a cloud,
right,
into a data center somewhere else. And it's the issue at the moment is just tying up the internal ITSM processes with the data center ITSM processes and making sure we've got those touch points in the right places so that the right people are talking to the right people on the other side. And I think those touch points often get ignored, and stuff happens on this side and stuff happens on that side, and there's a chasm in the middle where no one's quite sure who's supposed to be doing what.
Well, it's interesting because I think the cloud has been driving a lot of change in organizations, but additionally it's driving a lot of questions. You're starting to now ask, well, how much does it cost to deliver our service, our cloud, and our compute capacity versus using Amazon or Rackspace or some of these other services, or should we be using co-location? So there are a lot of questions that come up. And only if you have the discipline of ITSM, the discipline of ITIL processes, can you really know what the cost is of delivering that service in the data center and start comparing how much does it cost to deliver that application versus what I do in the cloud versus what I'm doing at Equinix. So this is sort of driving everyone to basically have more rigor and making sure that the data center is being sort of managed with the same sort of rigor that goes with ITSM. And so again, that's sort of how you get into the data center as a service. And many organizations don't have the luxury of moving everything to the cloud. They're either constrained by, certain types of policies, whether it's government or their own, or the data's too private, or they're too concerned about breaches that they can't use the cloud, and they're starting to use that rigor.
Well-established stable workloads. I mean, I think that there is a growing contrarian set of contrarian voices out there that says, look, the cloud is great for dynamic capacity on demand if you're experimenting and you're trying to figure out what your new market strategy is. But if it's a well-established workload, I don't know that the cloud is cheaper.
Cheaper is often not the case. I saw that. My previous company was a cloud provider, a platform as a service on top of Amazon. And what you'll find is for many workloads, they're database intensive, or you reach a certain size, it gets very not cost effective. It's very sort of cheap getting in, but it's a lot more expensive getting out.
Yep.
So how do you, for some of the more global entities, the cloud is not really a cloud, it's a whole series of clouds too, right?
Yes.
Because you've got a group out in Latin America, you've got the European. So from the organization's perspective, they still want to view that as one, but yet you're providing it to their full enterprise across across the world.
Right.
So how does that, add another layer of complexity to what you do? Because it's not just one building anymore. It's multiple buildings kind of acting collectively for the different audiences, the different profiles of person, and even regulatory, like you said, the legal aspects in London are different than New Zealand.
Absolutely, you'll have different policies. I think in a sense you've sort of answered the question in that. Give you a great example. We have a very large bank. I can't mention their name because they'd probably come and have an assassin kill me. But
Sure, we'll just list them and then you just don't.
we'll see what happens. But
see when you start
very
shooting.
large top 5 bank in the world, and they have 45 data centers operating out of one instance of Nlyte, and so they use data center service management specifically to ensure policies are being followed, right? Because if you don't, people are going to do things in their own way, and they're going to get
I
creative.
thought people just follow process.
Oh, yeah, all the time, right? And so
that's all you
in
do.
this way, you can sort of avoid outages by making sure everybody's doing the same things and things are consistent, and then you can measure. Then you can begin to ask the question, all right, we're considering taking a workload, moving it off to the cloud or a co-location provider or a managed service provider. How much does it cost for us to deliver it, and what are we going to have to do? And we can still use the software to manage what we're doing there, but it gives you a means of just creating sort of consistency. And if anything, ITSM is about create that consistent process and then measure it and improve it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, making things repeatable, obviously. It's just do the same thing the same way the next time.
right, exactly.
Absolutely.
So are you seeing any particular industries adopting it more than others, and or having particular challenges more than others in this digital experience kind of thing? Are you seeing any variety, or are they pretty much all acting in similar?
We see a variety of industries, but I'd say there's sort of 3 main drivers. One is if you have any sort of compliance, you have to. If you're HIPAA compliant, if you're Sarbanes, if you're driven by compliance, financial service being a great example, they're big adopters because they are about things need to be done in a particular way. If you're large, right, you've got a lot of moving parts, a lot of changes. One of our companies is, a Fortune 10 company who literally is bringing in thousands of servers on a monthly basis, right? There's so many changes you need to have processes and a mechanism. And then the third would just be literally change. You can have environments that aren't particularly big, but there's a lot happening. Either you're trying to provide additional services to outside organizations, because we have some co-locations who use us to manage their customers, right? And so if you've got a lot of change going on, again, you need something to automate that, and that's where, of course, software is very good, and that's where ITSM comes in and ensures those processes happen.
Well, thanks a lot for your time this
Oh, great.
afternoon. We've
Thanks.
had
It was-
a really good chat. It's
It was everything I dreamed it would be.
Yeah, we're good like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks, Mark, and thanks
Thank you very
for
much.
Thank you, Mark.
breaking
Thanks,
your
Mark.
conference experience and spending a little bit of time with
Can't
us.
wait to get back.
Thank you.